She sat curled up on a splintered wooden bench beneath an old maple tree, her head resting against a crumpled tote bag filled with everything she owned. The late autumn wind cut through her worn-out Lairstow cardigans, a pilled hoodie, and a winter coat with the stuffing peeking out from the seams. Her name was Darlene, and for the past 3 nights, this corner of Lincoln Park had been her home. She hadn't meant to end up here. 3 weeks ago, Darlene was working the cash register at a small thrift store just off Main Street. It wasn't glamorous, but it kept her going until the owner passed away unexpectedly and the shop closed overnight. No severance, no notice. Just a locked door and a handwritten note saying, "Thank you for your service." With no savings and no family left, Darlene tried to stretch what little she had. She pawned her microwave, then her old radio. She skipped meals. She told herself it was temporary. But when the landlord gave her 3 days to leave, she packed what she could in her tote and left quietly, ashamed. Now, as twilight settled in and the park grew colder, she pulled her knees to her chest. Her fingers, swollen and red, trembled as she tugged the coat tighter. The bench creaked beneath her. Around her, life moved on dog walkers, joggers, parents pushing strollers. No one looked at her. Have you ever felt completely invisible, even when surrounded by people? A cold gust made her shiver so hard she whimpered. Her toes were numb in her thin sneakers. Her stomach ached with hunger, but the deeper pain was loneliness. Memories of her late husband Harold came rushing back, how he used to make her tea and tuck her in with an old quilt. He'd passed 5 years ago, and since then, life had slowly unraveled. A dog barked nearby. She looked up. A boy, maybe 11 or 12, stood holding a leash. The golden retriever beside him wagged its tail, looking curious. The boy noticed her and froze for a second. She looked away, expecting him to pass like everyone else, but he didn't. "Are you cold?" he asked, his voice small. Darlene blinked. No one had spoken to her in days. She nodded, barely. He turned back toward the diner across the street. Through the glass, she saw a woman, his mother, maybe smiling and waving him in. The boy waved back, but didn't move. Instead, he sat down on the bench beside her. "My name's Jonah. This is Max," he said, patting the dog. Darlene tried to smile, but her lips felt stiff. "I'm Darlene." He looked down at her tote. "Is this all you have?" She hesitated, then nodded. Jonah pulled something from his coat pocket, a pair of wool gloves. "You can have these," he said, offering them. "My mom makes me carry 2 pairs, just in case." Darlene's eyes filled with tears. Her voice cracked. "Are you sure?" He nodded seriously. "You look like you need them more." That small gesture, it hit deeper than he could know. Have you ever been brought to tears by a child's kindness? The next day, Jonah returned. This time, his mom came with him. Her name was Alicia, and she held a steaming cup of coffee and a brown paper bag. "We made extra breakfast," she said. "Hope you're hungry." Darlene could barely form words. She hadn't eaten a full meal in days. Alicia sat with her while Jonah fed Max treats. They didn't ask questions, they just listened. Warmth, not from the food or gloves, but from their presence, filled her chest. Over the next week, they came every day, sometimes with soup, sometimes just with conversation. Darlene began to laugh again softly at first, like she'd forgotten how. One afternoon, Alicia asked, "Would you want to come over for dinner?" Darlene hesitated. I don't want to intrude." "You wouldn't be. We'd love to have you." Their home was small but cozy. A crocheted blanket on the couch, family photos on the walls, the smell of garlic bread in the air. Darlene sat at their table like she hadn't in years. They played Scrabble after dinner. Jonah giggled at her creative words. Alicia poured her chamomile tea and asked about her past. Darlene opened up about Harold, the thrift store, the loneliness. "I miss feeling useful," she said. "I used to love talking to customers, making them feel welcome." Alicia tilted her head. "You know, my friend runs a little flower shop. She's always saying she needs help on weekends." Darlene's heart skipped. "You think she'd consider me?" "Let's find out," Alicia smiled. A week later, Darlene walked into the flower shop wearing Jonah's gloves, a clean coat Alicia had dug up from her attic, and a nervous but hopeful heart. The bell over the door jingled. The owner, a cheerful woman named May, gave her a warm welcome. "We don't need experience here," she said, "just kindness." That first paycheck, it wasn't much, but Darlene cried holding it. It meant possibility. It meant dignity. She found a room to rent in a shared house. Nothing fancy, but it had a bed, a door, a lamp that worked. On her first night there, she lit a candle, sat on the floor and whispered, "Thank you." Have you ever whispered thanks into the silence? Not sure who's listening, but hoping someone is? Weeks turned into months. Darlene became part of their lives. She helped Jonah with homework, taught him how to bake oatmeal cookies, went to church with Alicia, even started volunteering once a week at the local shelter. Her favorite part? Sitting behind the flower counter, arranging blooms while greeting customers with the same warmth she once gave at the thrift shop. One spring afternoon, as she placed a daffodil into a vase, Jonah stopped by with Max. "I told my teacher about you," he said proudly. "How you used to sleep on a bench and now you help people. She said that's called resilience." Darlene chuckled. "That's a big word." He nodded. "It means you didn't give up." She looked at him, her eyes misty. "I didn't, because of you." He hugged her tightly. "You're part of our family now." What if every act of kindness, no matter how small, is a seed? What might grow if we all just planted one? Has a small act of kindness ever changed your day or your life? Share your story in the comments below. It might inspire our next video. Subscribe to The Kind Story for weekly heartwarming stories. Hit the bell and check out our playlist of emotional videos. Disclaimer: this story is a fictional or dramatized narrative created for emotional inspiration and entertainment. While it reflects real human emotions, all characters, names, and events are fictional or modified for storytelling purposes. Some parts may use AI-generated voiceovers or scripts. This content fully complies with YouTube's community guidelines and monetization policies. Our goal is to inspire, not to mislead. This story is a 100% original creation, written exclusively for the Kind Story YouTube channel. It has not been copied or reused from any other source and is not permitted for republication elsewhere.